Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is all about, can you learn medical billing and coding without an instructor? If you are brand new to my channel, welcome. I am Blue, I'm a medical coder. Okay guys, so I got this comment, so I'm gonna read the comment and then we're gonna get into it. So here we go. The comment says, and the comment was on the video, is medical billing and coding school hard? The question or the statement goes, enjoyed watching this video. I start classes in January, basically with no instructor. Just do the assignments they assign you. Do you think this is a good way to start off in this path to medical billing and coding with no classroom training? Plus, I know typing is a big part of the job, and I am pretty fast. Is there any suggestions on how I can type properly and at a pace needed in order to keep up with the job? So I will start off by saying this first. Typing is a very small part of what we do. Oftentimes, medical billers and coders will work with what is called an encoder, and that's basically an electronic code book. So you enter in a few letters, sometimes you enter in a whole word, and it'll start bringing up suggestions on like, what do you mean? Is it this? Is it this? And then you just make your selections throughout the decision tree, and that's how you end up with the code. So it's the percentage of typing is very small. It's just like people who get worked up about the math. Oh, Blue, I heard there's math. I don't know if I could do this if there's math. Guys, it's very simple plus minus multiplication division math. Very simple. If you can't work a calculator, guys, come on. These are basic things that you can work out on a calculator, and it's not even that much. The ones who really have to work with the math, of course, are the medical billers. You know, they have to work with plus minus multiplication division math, and they will have to work with percentages. But again, it's formula math, so it's very user-friendly, very easy to set up. Once you learn what you're doing, then you'll be fine. So again, it's not anything to be worked up about. The thing that you really have to concentrate on, of course, is the reading comprehension. I've had people tell me, Blue, I don't have really good reading comprehension. Do you think I can do this? I don't know you. I don't know you in the fact that I don't understand when you say you don't have really good reading comprehension. That could mean different things to different people. But what we have to do is we have to interpret medical documents. So we have to know what doctors know while never having gone to medical school. If you don't feel like your reading comprehension is up to par, guys, I mean, I would look at something else different, because that's exactly what we're doing all day long. 90% of what we do in a day as medical coders is read. So you do have to understand what you're reading. You do have to be able to comprehend and be able to pull out the diagnoses and understand what's going on. So that's the thing that I would stress would be more important and more things to worry about if you are just like really not sure, right? But to answer the question of, can you learn this on your own? Is not having an instructor going to hurt you? Yes, you can learn medical billing and coding on your own. However, there are going to be things that you're not going to understand. And that's just the basic ins and outs of it. I mean, it's a brand new thing, right? And medical coding is very particular on its rules and things like that. So sometimes there is going to be times where you're going to have to reach out and find a mentor or find a tutor. Now, you can look on LinkedIn for mentors. You can tell them, hey, I'm a medical coding student. I don't have an instructor. Is there somebody who, is willing to mentor me? You can ask for tutor recommendations. Sometimes you are going to have to put out a little bit of money in order to have somebody help you. And that's just because you're paying them for their time and them for their knowledge. So you can ask LinkedIn, put it out there, put a post and say, hey, is there anybody with any suggestions on medical coding tutors? There's a ton of them on LinkedIn. I am a tutor myself. My rate is in the description box below. I have opened up my calendar, but I am not seeing any new clients until after January the 2nd. So if you're interested, let me know. My contact information is in the description box below. Please don't ask me in the comments what my contact information is. It's in the description box below. So with that being said, guys, you know what you're signing up for when you're signing up for these programs. Okay, let's just be honest here. we know what we're signing up for when we're signing up for a program. And if they're telling you, you will not have an instructor, you're going to have to learn this on your own, you accepted that when you signed up for the program and you gave them your money. Guys, so that's something that you got to take responsibility for. Yes, I signed up for a program where there's no instructor. So I'm going to have to figure this out, or I'm going to have to find somebody, hire somebody to help me to understand this. And that's just the ins and outs of it, guys. I didn't have an instructor either when I went to medical coding school. I went to a trade school that's no longer there, okay? I went to a trade school, and they had this one creepy guy who came in every week or every other week, and he would do like classes in the evening. This guy creeped me out, like, ugh, asco, ugh. And so I just would not want to be around this guy. So I always skipped him. So I basically had no instructor at all. This was really on me. And so it meant that I had to sit there and dig into the books. And there was not YouTube back then. As far as like I knew that people were doing this back then. I didn't even know what it was when I signed up for it at the school. I didn't even know. And so there was no YouTube, there was no, hiring a tutor, any of those things. There was none of that. I literally had to learn it on my own. And my mom helped me. Thank God for my mom. But that was something that, we did together. We studied together. We did practice drills and everything else. And my mom made flashcards, and she helped spend hours with me going over these flashcards. And so that's something that, I was very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for that experience I had with my mom, because if I didn't have her, I wouldn't have my career now. And so that's the thing, guys. You can learn this on your own. It really all depends on how much you want it and how much you give yourself a break. If you're stuck on something, which you will get stuck on something. And whether it's medical terminology or anatomy or pathophysiology, and if you're stuck on something, it's okay to put a pin in that subject and keep moving, and then come back to that subject when your brain doesn't feel so fried. And if you're setting yourself up on a really good study schedule, which I have made many videos for busy people on how to study and how to squirrel in that time. Again, I will be leaving that in the description box below. And when you're doing that, and you're giving yourself those adequate breaks, it's going to be able to make things sink in a lot easier. You're not going to be so overwhelmed, right? And again, if you're working with a tutor, that's a great thing, because, a tutor can help you to understand what's going on. And that's why I really recommend getting recommendations from like LinkedIn, on, if anybody's worked with a tutor before, what would they say about that person, right? So that's something that I would recommend if you're out there and you're like, okay, well, I'm starting in this program and I don't have an instructor. Guys, it's possible, but it's going to take a lot of work and effort, all right? And the things that you don't understand, there's going to be, again, times where you're going to be like struggling and you're just like, I'm just going to give up. Don't do that, because you've already paid for the program. So get through your program and make sure that you stick a pin in anything that you don't understand, and then come back to it when you have a tutor or when you have time, when you feel rested, so that way you don't feel like you're burning out trying to study so many things at one time. And it is okay to study on your own. I do have the independent study list, and it's okay to hop around as for when you're learning. Like if you're working with ICD-10-CM, if you want to start looking at the CPT book or ICD-10-PCS book, that's okay to do that. You don't have to make your learning so rigid. It really all depends on what it is and like how do you learn best. But I do recommend that the first thing that you're going to start off with is your medical terminology, your anatomy, and your pathophysiology. Because if you don't understand those things, the terminology and the documentation is not going to make any sense, right? So you have to start off there. But, again, when you're in these programs, and sometimes people just get sucked into these really terrible programs, get through what you can get through. If you're not learning from the instructor, if you do have an instructor and you're not learning from them, it is okay to get what you can get from that program and then study on your own. Use my independent study video to supplement your learning. So that way you can, pick up the things that, there's maybe some holes in the learning that you didn't get. that my independent study list really does help with. And my independent study list comes with those 2 books, those 2 workbooks that I really do recommend. And again, it's in the description box below. It's there, guys. And yes, you can use the older versions of these books because they are cheaper than the new books. The new books are going to have, yes, the updated codes, but they're going to be more expensive. And they're going to have the same questions as the ones years before. So again, why would you pay all this money for something that, you know, you go a couple of years back and it's the same thing, you know, just maybe some of the codes have changed. And you'll know that the code has changed because when you're looking in your book and you don't see that code that's in the answer key, then you know that that's been updated. And you can look on the internet to see what it was updated to or why it was deleted and what the new code range is. It's totally possible. It's possible to learn this without having to spend a ton of money. All right, guys. So that's just something that you got to know because so many people are just so willing to just spend all this money and not really knowing what they're getting themselves into. And as far as like what books and what brand I recommend for ICD-10, CM, ICD-10, PCS, I will always recommend Optum 360 coding books. Again, that link is always in the description box below. I'm not affiliated with Optum 360. They don't pay me, but I'm always happy to share their website because their website is amazing when it comes to sales. I have to stay away. And I do recommend their books. Now, the AMA is the one that makes a CPT book. We all have to have that AMA CPT Professional Edition in order to sit for these exams. So that you do have to have, and that I do recommend. Now that book doesn't go on sale too much, okay? Like the cheapest I've seen it is $97 on the Optum website, even with their other sales. But they do have their 2022 editions on clearance, obviously, because it's the end of the year, free shipping. So that's something that if you're interested in studying for medical billing and coding, you can certainly study with the 2022 guides right now. And then when you take your exam later in the year, you can get your books on sale. Again, it'll probably be on sale, the 2023 books, right? And you can get them closer to the time that you take your exam and then, you know, use those. So again, it's just a way of saving money. This field is already expensive as it is. The credential maintenance, the CEUs, the membership dues, and all this other good stuff. You don't have to be spending all this crazy money on books, okay? So that would be what I would recommend if you're going to go that way. Again, if the school isn't working for you, there's no reason for you to quit and not pursue it. You can just get what you can get from the school because you already paid for it. I never recommend just quitting a school because if you've already paid for it, why let them have your money? You get everything that you can get from that school and then you supplement your own learning so that way that you can get what you wanted to do. Because you got into the program because you wanted to be a medical biller and coder, right? And if it's a lot to you, you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I want to do this. If you can't see that through, guys, there's going to be everything in life that you're not going to be able to see through. You're going to keep running from challenges instead of facing them head on. And the more that you face a challenge head on, the easier that challenge is going to be, right? And then when you accomplish those challenges and you've accomplished those goals, it's going to make you feel even more motivated. So don't run away from the challenge and the uncomfortable feelings. Embrace them. Go after it instead of just running from it. Because that's what a lot of people do. They just run from challenges and they say, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, it's too hard. Or I don't want to work that hard. That's so sad, guys. When I hear that, I don't want to work that hard. That's so sad to me. Because to me, that's the best thing. Is when you are able to meet those challenges and you can rise to the occasion. Because, you know, they say diamonds are made under pressure. And it's true. You know, it's the same thing in life. You get everything so easily handed to you. There's no ultimate joy when you get something that you've worked so hard for. And so that's something that I want to leave you guys with because it's just something that I see a lot. I get a lot of comments and I see like a lot of the mentality from some people. I see, you know, really studious people and I see people that just kind of like hey man, I heard about this and I just want to get into it because of the money. And I never encourage people to do this for the money, because if you are, you're going to be miserable. The money is there and it will come with time, but it's not going to be there if that's immediately what you're looking for. And when people do that, you know, again, you're going to be miserable. The money always came to me when I wasn't looking for it. When I got into this field, the whole goal was to get in. So when I spent those 2 months looking, and before you say, oh, that's not long enough. Oh, you have no idea what I went through in those 2 months. When I was working at a halfway house, I was cleaning houses. I was working at a bar and being mistreated. So I'm going through all of this. I'm tired. I want to get into medical billing and coding because, you know, that's what I went to school for. My mom told me, go back to the school and have them, you know, see if they know somebody that can help you. Because I was applying everywhere and being told, oh no, you don't have experience, come back when you do, and you passed your test, but you know, we need somebody who has experience. And like, well, whatever. So when I finally did get signed up with the temp agency that the principal sent me to, I got a 3-month assignment. You know, and from that 3-month assignment, I went to my next stop, which I had to move. You know, I know not everybody can move. Don't write me and tell me that you can't move, because I'm telling you my story. When I moved and I got this position, I was there for 8 months. Again, I jumped. I had a good starting salary, but then when I left and went to that second place, I got an even bigger jump. And then when I got here to my forever home, again, another big jump. This wasn't a little jump. These were big jumps the whole way. And I wasn't looking at the money. I was surprised and thankful that I got the money. Of course, you know, who wouldn't be? But it was okay. You know, I'm trying to get in because I want to get into a career field. You know, I was going through a divorce and, you know, I had an ex-husband in my ear, you know, and so no, I'm going to do this so that I could turn my life around, you know. And I was like still in my 20s, right? My late 20s, trying to get in, you know, trying to start my life again, because I just, you know, getting out of a marriage and then, you know, going through all these things. So it's just about you making up your mind and what it is that you want to do. But there's so many people that say, oh, right as I get out of school, I want to be able to make all this money. And if this place is not going to pay me what I'm worth, you know what? You haven't even tried yet. You haven't even started yet. Do you even know what you're doing yet? And if you think about it, you know, these businesses, they're going to think like a business. Are you bringing them skill? Now, you may not be bringing them experience, but if they're really desperate enough, oh, they're going to try to take on somebody who's brand new, who can bring the skill, who can bring the ability to be able to do their research so that they don't have to ask all these questions, right? Or say that, you know, they want their hand held, because guys, this is very independently learned. This is very independent. Like as soon as you get in there, it is independent. Like you have to learn how to do your research. Yes, there's going to be times when you can ask questions, obviously. But if you're asking excessive questions that are very simple and easy, you're going to make the people around you question, why did they even hire you? So you have to make them grateful that they hired you. Oh, this is a good person. They're a hard worker. They, you know, they're trying, they're doing really well, and that kind of thing. That's what you need to show them. Because again, I've told you guys before, if your resume says I'm looking for a training position, they're never going to hire you guys. They're never going to hire you. That's the number one mistake brand new medical coders make, is that they put on their resume that they're looking for a position where somebody will train them. And that's not what they're looking for, guys. Okay. So it starts when you start in school, which is that you have to make sure that you study independently and that you start looking for resources. Go through my videos, guys. Please don't ask me, because they're all there. You have the same access to YouTube as I do, right? You type in medical coding with Bleu and you see all my videos there. And it's every single topic that you could possibly think of that I have done a show on. How to, tips for your resume, tips for job searching, tips for studying medical coding, tips for busy people, what to study, what books I get, what. It's all there, guys. And again, that's part of doing the research, all right? So that's just my advice anyway. So best of luck to you if you're out there with a program with no instructor. It's difficult, but it's not impossible. And that's just what I'm going to say right there. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If this video helped you, I hope that you will like, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.